Hey guys, if you're a student of history at all, you know that we're already in a civil war here in the United States. There's already a group of wealthy oligarchs who have the levers of power in their hands. They're already building a secret police force. They've already publicly stated they're going to try and overturn the next election and the election after that. They're clearly against democracy and the will of the people and the vote of the people. Internationally, it's confusing, everything that's going on, but it has a lot to do with a few rich men trying to put more money into their pockets and dividing up the resources. Let's call them the 1%, the Putins, the Trumps, the Netanyahus, the Saudis. I don't even know all the names, but there's a small handful of rich men attempting to divide up the resources of the planet and put the quote unquote wealth into their own pocket. And that's essentially what's happening on the world stage. That's always what happens on the world stage, century after century. And here in the United States, where we all grew up talking about democracy and land of the free and rights and etc., that's all being crushed because people are making money. People want to make money by crushing you and I. We're already in a civil war, so what are we going to do about it? There may be some of you where it makes sense to grab your guns and practice your guns and get ready for armed revolt. And I can't tell you not to do that. It's not likely that's what I'm going to do. I think there is a place in this world for peaceful revolt. I think what we saw happen in Minneapolis is a great example of you get enough people in the streets, you put enough millions of people in the streets, they're not going to gun down millions of us. They may gun down thousands of us. They may put into warehouses tens of thousands of us, maybe even 100,000 of us, but they're not going to put 10 million of us in warehouses. They're not going to shoot down 10 million of us. So that's my first thought on what there is to do in the bigger picture and the longer scheme of things. If enough of us get into the streets and say, no, we're going to stand here peacefully, go ahead and shoot us down. And yes, some of us will be shot down. And yes, some of us will be put into detention and all this stuff. You can't be afraid of that. Some of us are going to die. Some of us are going to get hurt. Some of us are just going to stand in the streets and be peaceful. And it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And so I think getting your head clear and your heart clear about that now before it needs to be done. And the year is 2026. We're well into February now. Certainly in the next couple of months, people like you and I are going to need to be taken to the streets if you're not already one of the people who's already in the streets, and I know some of you are. I think a second, and maybe this is even the first thing, is we need to stop talking about politics. We need to stop talking about Democrats and Republicans. We need to stop talking about us versus them. I mean, this is the perfect way that they keep us all divided, the 99% of us, while they take the levers of power, while they selling their oil and putting the money in their own pockets and whatever else they're doing to amass wealth and resources. They're splitting up the world, the 1%. 1% of these ultra wealthy oligarchs are splitting up all the land, the water, the air, the resources, and claiming ownership of it all. But meanwhile, we got us arguing about who's a good Democrat and who's a bad Democrat and who's a good Republican and that's all bullshit, all of that. We need to stop talking about partisan politics. I'm a guy who's voted Democrat pretty much my whole life. And trust me, I'm not here to brag about the Democrats. I'm very, very unimpressed. I mean, the Democrats were fine going along with Homeland Security and having Homeland Security offices built in every city across the country. You know, I've seen some of the weak responses from the Democrats to this ICE and the secret police army being built. Sure, next election I'll be voting Democrat. The one after that, hopefully there's going to be some other options. But you and I need to stop talking about the partisan politics. There's a small group of the population that voted MAGA is going to go to their grave saying MAGA is good and Trump's a Christian and blah, blah. I mean, I studied Christian teachings as a kid. I know who's a Christian and who's not by what they do. But in any case, here I am talking about it, but I need to stop myself from talking about it. We need to talk to the vast majority of us that know that destruction of our democracy, that know that secret police, that know that detention centers, that know that the small handful of men who get to rape kids on islands and divide up the assets of the planet and put it in their own pocket. There's something wrong with all of that, and people like you and I are not going to stand for it. We don't need to freak out. We just need to get our hearts and our minds clear. It's like when the time comes, and that time is basically here now, we're going to all take to the streets. When the time comes, and that time is now, we're going to stop talking about partisan politics, Democrats versus Republicans, and red states versus blue states. That's all bullshit, and it's not going to get us anywhere. Trust me, I'm 63 years old. It's been talked about all of my life, and it's gotten us nowhere. The political system is just slowly degenerated around me the older that I've gotten. You can't depend upon political parties. The political parties are the rich guys protecting their own wealth and benefiting from the partisan talk. So I think I've said three things here. Stop the politics talk. Stop the partisan politics. Don't talk to the MAGA guys. Don't argue with the MAGA guys. They voted, they did what they did, and they're going to go to their grave thinking what they did. It's time for the vast majority of us that can see what's wrong to say this is wrong and we're not going to take it anymore. So we're going to prepare ourselves en masse to take to the streets. We're going to prepare ourselves en masse to shut down this country economically. Those are the two things that we're going to do. And we're going to prepare ourselves now just by talking quietly to ourselves. It's like when I get a chance to go out to the street, I'm going to go out to the street. However I can shut down the country economically, I'm going to shut down the country economically. And I'm going to try my best not to talk about them, not to talk about MAGA, not to talk about Democrat versus Republican, because that's all bullshit. Trust me, I'm 63 years old. Talking about us versus them, Democrats versus Republicans, does absolutely nothing. What does do something? Let's shut this country down. Let's take to the streets. It's February. It's still cold out there for some of you. I'm in California, so I got it easy. But springtime is around the corner. Most of us, I mean, they just did it in Minneapolis. Fucking cold in Minneapolis. And they stood up and ice is gone, or leaving, or that's what I've heard anyways. And it's coming in the springtime now. Every one of us in every state and every city can take to the streets. Every one of us can shut the economy down. Talk to you guys soon.